In the United States, the role of law enforcement has evolved significantly over the years, raising critical questions about its primary objectives. Beyond its fundamental duty to maintain law and order, policing in America has increasingly come under scrutiny for its role in generating revenue. This shift has profound implications for society, raising concerns about the true purpose of law enforcement. The police chief of Van, Texas, was terminated on Friday, according to Mayor Tammy Hoff. City Council held a closed session at 7 p.m. on Friday to discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of the police chief. Now, according to Clint McNair with the Texas Municipal Police Association, Chief Davis was fired by the city manager, John DeShea, via letter after Davis reportedly didn't want to find victims of graffiti and instead organized the community to help clean up the graffiti. That's it. So to me, that seems like it would be an excellent way to handle the situation. It's a way that the community can work together. Finding the victims, in my opinion, is outrageous, and I think that the community would agree, which is probably the reason why they weren't invited into the closed meeting to voice their opinions about what happened.
In a special called meeting, Van City Council deliberated on the status of the police chief. Fox 51's Ashlyn Anderson was there and has the latest. Ashlyn.
Tori, it was an urgent meeting posted on Tuesday. The city council met behind closed doors and deliberated for more than an hour. When they came back, they decided and voted unanimously that they will not take any action regarding Police Chief Melissa Davis. She was also at the meeting, and there was not a visible reaction to the decision. Tonight, City Council was packed with residents at City Hall. Residents spoke out in favor of Davis and her hard work and loyalty to their community. It came to light that this meeting came on the heels of Chief Davis's termination on Monday.
Right now is that she was terminated by our city manager, John DeShea, on Monday, July 1st, and that's really all I can talk about as far as because it's a personnel matter.
I also spoke with the Texas Municipal Police Association, who represents Chief Davis. Here's what they had to say on how Chief Davis has been feeling this week.
She's been in law enforcement for decades. She's done a great job. She's embraced this community. The only word is she's devastated. She's completely devastated.
McNair goes on to say the city manager fired Chief Davis for not finding residents who were victims of graffiti. Instead, Chief Davis rallied the community together to scrub the affected walls. And this agenda will be tabled for next Thursday in executive session. In Van, Ashlyn Anderson, Fox 51 News.
But you and I already know that it's never really been about helping the community, has it? It's not even about protecting you, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But what it is about is protecting themselves and raising money for the government. One major catalyst of revenue-driven policing is the reliance of local governments on fines, fees, and asset forfeiture as a significant source of income. Municipalities face budget shortfalls, often look to law enforcement to fill the financial gap, leading to an environment where policing becomes a means to generate revenue rather than ensuring public safety. Ticket quotas, whether formally acknowledged or informally enforced, pressure law enforcement to issue a predetermined number of citations within a specific period. This practice not only strains police-community relations, but also shifts the focus from crime prevention to meeting financial targets, potentially leading to over-policing and unfair targeting. Civil asset forfeiture is another contentious practice in which law enforcement seizes property that's suspected of being involved in a crime, often without requiring a conviction or even charging the owner with wrongdoing. Critics argue that civil forfeiture incentivizes police departments to prioritize cases based on potential financial gains rather than the severity of the offense or public safety concerns. Perhaps most damaging is the erosion of trust between law enforcement agencies and the communities that they serve. When policing comes synonymous with revenue generation, the perception of officers as impartial guardians of public safety diminishes. Instead, they're viewed as agents of a system designed to extract money from the populace, further widening the gap between police departments and the communities that they're sworn to protect. In recent years, there's been a growing call for reforming police practices to prioritize public service over revenue generation. Advocates argue for the elimination of ticket quotas, reforming civil asset forfeiture laws to protect due process rights, and reallocating resources to community-based initiatives aimed at addressing the root cause of crime. And let's keep it real. Why would they want to fix a system that's working the way that it's always intended to? It's never really been about public safety. In fact, police have no duty to protect the people at all. In the 1981 case of Warren versus DC, the DC Court of Appeals held that the police have a general public duty, but that no specific legal duty exists unless there's a special relationship between the officer and an individual. For example, somebody who's in custody. The U.S. Supreme Court has also ruled that the police have no specific obligation to protect. In its 1989 decision of DeShaney versus Winnebago County Department of Social Services, the justices ruled that a social services department has no duty to protect a young boy from his abusive father. In 2005, Castle Rock versus Gonzalez, a woman sued the police for failing to protect her from her husband after he violated a restraining order and abducted and killed 3 children. Justices said that the police have no such duty. Most recently, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit withheld a lower court ruling that police could not be held liable for failing to protect students in the 2018 shooting that claimed 17 lives in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. So until the government holds itself to the same standards that it holds taxpayers to, don't expect the police to intervene during your moment of crisis. Police carry guns to defend themselves, not us. Now, I'm with the police chief here. It's time that we embrace a voluntary society. But is society ready for that? Unfortunately, it might be a little bit too late. In an era marked with increased scrutiny of traditional governance structures, the concept of a voluntary society emerges as a compelling alternative. It, at its core, is a voluntary society, operates on principles of individual choice, mutual consent, and decentralized decision-making, offering unique benefits that extend beyond the confines of conventional governance. Central to the appeal of voluntary society is the emphasis on freedom and personal liberty. Individuals are empowered to make decisions based on their own preferences and beliefs, free from coercion or imposed mandates. Now imagine living in a world where you do not get fined when someone damages your property, and you do not lose your job for helping your neighbor. By minimizing bureaucratic red tape and regulatory burdens, a voluntary society encourages innovation and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs are afforded a greater flexibility to experiment with new ideas and solutions, driving economic growth and fostering a dynamic marketplace of goods and services tailored to consumer preferences. Individuals voluntarily contribute to collective goals and shared interests, forging bonds of trust and cooperation that transcend traditional boundaries. This grassroots solidarity fosters mutual support networks and enhances the capacity to weather challenges collectively. In a voluntary society, individuals assume a greater personal responsibility for their own actions and choices. This culture of accountability promotes ethical behavior and reinforces the social contract between citizens, fostering a climate of mutual respect. The concept of a voluntary society represents a departure from conventional governance, offering a vision of society characterized by freedom, innovation, and community solidarity by embracing individual choice and decentralized decision-making. A voluntary society not only empowers individuals, but also cultivates a resilient and adaptive social framework capable of addressing challenges effectively. The principles of voluntarism offer valuable insights into fostering a more prosperous society for all. There will be a meeting on July 11th to discuss the future of former Chief Davis and what will happen for the heinous crime of not finding the victims and working together to clean up graffiti. What do you think of this situation? Be sure to let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.